Smartphones have gotten really fast over years and gaming on a smartphone has become a wild thing. And the thing is that even the cheapest smartphones are capable of running the most played games at an acceptable graphics and frame rates. So today I'm gonna show you some smartphones which are capable of running these games from the cheapest up to the most expensive, which is the best of the best. And on lower prices, I'm also gonna show you some second-hand alternatives which are definitely better than the ones that you're paying like $300, $400 for brand new. So let's get into it. So for less than 300, we got tons of options here, but it's kinda limited because we want something that could perform good on gaming. So the first one which I'm gonna show you is called the Redmi Note 13 Pro 5G. It has a pretty long name, but it's a pretty good phone with decent specs considering the fact that it costs like $270 or so. It does have a pretty good display. The resolution is 1.5K, it's 120Hz, and it's obviously AMOLED, and it got a 200 megapixel camera, which you and I definitely know that these phones aren't gonna perform that good. So yeah, let's just forget about the camera. It also has the Snapdragon 7S Gen 2, I believe, which is pretty decent for a smartphone at this price. And it does a pretty good job on games like Call of Duty Mobile or PUBG Mobile. You could definitely play it at high graphics with decent frame rates. And if you crank up the graphics, you're definitely gonna lose some frame rates and the phone will definitely get hot, so you should be gentle here. The other option is that you could go for a Galaxy S22 or the S22 Plus, not the Ultra. Yes, these are 3+ years old, but they're still capable up to this date. And they'll definitely do a pretty good job on anything that you want to do, no matter if it's gaming, taking photos, doing social media, and other things. So let's move past 300, something between $300 and $400. The first option is the Poco X6 Pro. It's a sub-brand from Xiaomi and this phone is capable. Despite of its mediocre camera, the display, the processor, the battery and the build quality is top-notch at this price. It has a 5000 mAh battery and supports up to 65 watts of super fast charging. And the thing is that the charger is included in the box, unlike Samsung, Apple, Google and other companies. And as for the processor, it has the MediaTek Dimensity 8300 Ultra, which is one of the best smartphone processors you could ever find in a mid-range smartphone. I mean, it's fast, like super fast. Now, all these good things that I said about this phone is true. My best friend also has this phone and he is enjoying it. Like, his main concern of buying this phone is gaming. Like, he plays Call of Duty Mobile or PUBG Mobile, mostly Call of Duty. And he's playing it at highest graphics with max frame rates and it's definitely enjoyable. Other than that, you could go for the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus, which is aesthetically a good phone. I mean, it looks better to be honest. The cameras are better and will definitely perform better, but the performance is a little bit worse than the Poco X6 Pro. So if you're just playing games and don't even care about the cameras, just go for the Poco. But if you care about both, you should sacrifice some frame rates so you'll have a better-ish display, a better camera, and a better looking phone. But you know, at this price you could go for a refurbished iPhone 13 on Amazon at excellent condition, and this phone is by far better than these two phones. Yes, it has a 60Hz display and it got a big ass notch, but it's a good phone. I mean, it got a better camera, it got a better build material, and the battery is okay. And the processor is amazing at this price. It got the Apple's A15 Bionic, which is way faster than the Dimensity 8300 Ultra on the Poco X6 Pro. So yeah, it's definitely a better option and gives you 3 or 4 years of OS support from now. So now let's move past $400. And at this price range, phones get more interesting. We got some from Samsung and some from Xiaomi, but the Samsung ones don't usually perform good at gaming at this price. So the first one which I'm gonna show you is called the Xiaomi 14T, which is kind of an upgraded version in a luxury form of the Poco X6 Pro. It has better cameras, it got the same processor, better build material, sort of a brighter display, and it's definitely a valid option at this price. Or you could go for the Poco X7 Pro, which is a much improved version than its predecessor, the Poco X6 Pro. This has a slightly faster processor, which is the Dimensity 8400 Ultra, and the Ultra is made specifically for the Poco X7 Pro. It now got a high capacity battery at 6000 mAh, which uses the newer battery technology, the silicon carbon, which helps for the longevity of the battery of the device. But there are still better options if you search through Amazon. You could go for the iPhone 14, which is sort of the same as the iPhone 13, but it's newer and better. Or you could go for the iPhone 13 Pro, which has a promotion display, a better camera compared to those, and a pretty powerful processor. So now let's go for the phones which cost somewhere between $500 and $600. And one of the best choices that you could ever take is called the OnePlus 12R. and it's an amazing device at this price. It has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is still capable of running the new graphical games at a decent frame rate. And also it got a feature called Aqua Touch. It means that if your hands are wet or the phone itself is wet, you can just use it without any problems. Or if you want to use it under a shower by any chance, you can just use it without any issues. Don't do it, okay, but there is a possibility. Now, other than that, there is a phone from Xiaomi and called the Poco X6 Pro. Last one was the X6, and now we got to the F series, which is the flagship series of the Poco phones. And you know, the Poco itself is made for gaming and all these stuff, but yeah, the Poco X6 Pro is literally a beast. And it also has the same processor as the OnePlus 12R and performs phenomenal, as you should expect from a phone at this price range. And you know, I think that the Poco X6 Pro is definitely a reasonable option here. Now, the next phone is not necessarily a gaming phone, but you could go for the iPhone 16e. I don't know about it, but it's capable of running the latest games at the highest graphics at the highest frame rate possible. But instead of this, you could go for the refurbished iPhone 15 Pro, which is definitely better than this phone. By any means, I mean, it has a better display, it got ProMotion, Dynamic Island, a better body, which is titanium, and by far it has a better camera, and the processor isn't that different from the iPhone 16e or even the iPhone 16 Pro, so you'd better not waste your money. And it also has Apple Intelligence, not that it really matters. So now we're past $600, and at this price range, smartphones usually tend to be flagships or flagship killers. And you know, for the gaming smartphones, which are also aesthetically considered as gaming, we got better options here. And they're usually priced at $670 or $700. So the first smartphone which I'm gonna show you is called the Galaxy S24 FE, which is a solid smartphone and a big one. It comes at 6.7 inches, which is the same as the S24 Plus. And it got a pretty nice display, to be honest. It's 120Hz and it's pretty bright. And the processor of this phone is called the Exynos 2400E, which is a slightly underclocked version of the Exynos 2400, which was on the S24 and the S24 Plus. And you might say that Exynos is bad and it heats up and it's not powerful. Yes, you may be right about the heat, but it's pretty powerful and runs the games at a decent graphics and an enjoyable frame rate. And it also has 7 years of OS support, so I don't think it's a bad option here. Now the next phone is again from Xiaomi. It's the Xiaomi 14T Pro. Now imagine how good was the Xiaomi 14T and make it double. It has a better, brighter display, a better camera, and a better battery, and the Dimensity 9300 Plus, which is way better than the 8300 Ultra, which was on the 14T. And let me tell you this, at this price on this phone, you're gonna have the best experience you could ever imagine on games. And as for the used ones, well, you could go for the S23 Ultra. You could get it refurbished and excellent condition, which is basically brand new. And the performance of it is phenomenal. It has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is pretty good at this price. And it's by far better than these two phones that I told you. And it has a better display, and the camera is way better than these two phones. Well, it was a flagship smartphone after all. So let's get to the phones which cost more than $800. Okay, so at this price, every smartphone that comes out is a flagship at every aspect, and whoever wants to pay this much probably needs the best of the best. So obviously your first option is the iPhone 16. Yes, it has a 60Hz display, but other than the display, the performance is amazing. It got the Apple's A18, the latest and the fastest processor for smartphones from Apple. And it comes with 8GB of RAM, and it comes in two sizes, 6.1 and 6.7 inches. And the 6.7 inches is obviously the Plus. Okay, so the next phone which I'm gonna show you is in fact a proper gaming phone. And it's called the RedMagic 10 Pro. I don't know what to say about this, it's amazing. It has the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is the fastest among all the Android phones. It has a physical fan on the back which goes up to 6000 RPMs to cool down the phone as soon as possible. It also has vapor chamber, which is big and it spreads the heat all over the body. It got a 6.8 inches display, which is very thin, and there's no camera cutout, so you could play without any disturbance. It has built-in triggers on the frame, so you don't need any third-party accessories. And it also has a 7000 mAh battery, which is amazing, and it gives you 2 days of battery life without any issues. And other than this beautiful phone, at $999 you could go for the iPhone 16 Pro at 128GB of storage, but I don't think it's really worth it. I mean, yeah, sure, for $100 more you could get it for like 256GB, but whoever wants to buy the iPhone 16 Pro, probably it's better to go for the iPhone 15 Pro or the Pro Max, because it's not really different. Like, the only difference between these two generations is the stupid camera control button. Who's using it? And other than that, at $1,299 you could go for the S25 Ultra, but it's not that different from the S24 Ultra. Yeah, the processor is definitely better, it's like 40% faster than before, but other than that, not much of a difference. But apart from all the phones that I just said, there's a phone from Asus. You probably know Asus for its ROG laptop or TUF series, but it also has a phone which is called the ROG Phone 9 Pro. And boy, if it's not the best gaming phone on the planet. This thing is packed. It has the latest and the greatest Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is fast. And it has a pretty bright display with a high resolution, but it has 165Hz refresh rate. This is almost 3 times at my laptop. And you know, with the help of the fan that you could attach to the back of the phone, you could easily play your games at the highest graphics possible, at the highest frame rates possible without any issues throughout the day. Okay, so this was my own recommendation of the phones that you could game on in 2025. Not necessarily the gaming phones, because the normal phones are also catching up to the gaming phones. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, and I hope that I changed a little bit of your mind if you're in a market of phones that you could game on in 2025. So anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and as always, this is ByteForge, and see you in the next one.